In this session, I'm going to discuss about the features of libertarian theory of media. Let's get started. The libertarian theory is one of the normative theories of the press. The theory, which is originally came from libertarian thoughts from 16th century in Europe. This is a theory that was drawn from the libertarian thoughts of 16th century Europe. What the libertarian theorists spoke or did is they were against authoritarian thoughts. Okay, so it emerged as a counter narrative or as a counter theory to the authoritarian thoughts that existed. Now, international trade and urbanization undermine the power of rural aristocracy, which leads to various social movements and raised Protestant Reformation that demands individual freedoms, their own lives, and free thoughts. Okay, that once people started moving out of the villages in the 16th century Europe for for trade or for any kind of urban expansion, when they moved to different cities or they traveled and all, that sort of restricted the power of rural aristocracy or those people who were governing the village setups. And that those sort of free thinkers are those people who went out and traveled and their mind opened, and because of international trade they also made certain amount of money. Those they kind of forefronted different social movements, and this would include Protestant Reformation, and where the focus is on individuals' freedoms and their own thoughts and how those things are free from any kind of authoritarianism or authoritarian ideas. Liberalism means information is knowledge and knowledge is power. So there is a direct dynamic between how information is understood as knowledge and how knowledge could, significantly lead to any kind of power equation that exists in society. And a person or an individual or a community could be truly liberal if they know how to use the information in order to draw some sort of power and try to establish themselves in a certain power equation in the society by trying to use information as knowledge. Libertarianism is free from any authority or any control or censorship. So they do not believe in libertarian theorists or libertarian believers do not accept any kind of authority or any kind of control or censorship on their content or on their thoughts and actions. Liberalism is also an idea of individualism. Okay, yeah, that you very strongly believe in yourself. You very strongly believe in the kind of ideologies that you have, or the thought processes and the actions that kind of drive or motivate you on an everyday basis, or a community. That your leadership skills are also libertarian in nature. That you believe that as an individual, it is our society, and we must take care of it in the most independent way, and it should be free of any kind of authority, so to say, who can dictate their principles, or limited government which is not harmful to another. Okay, so either it could be focusing on individualism, or it might focus on a very limited government which is not harmful to people in the society or communities. Then libertarian theory sees people are more enough to find and judge good ideas from bad. Okay, as per libertarian theory, more people can find good ideas and they can distinguish between good ideas and bad ideas. The theory says that people are rational and the rational thoughts lead them to find out what is good and bad. So the differentiation between what is good and bad within the society or within the frameworks of the society is something that can be defined by rationalists, that can be defined by the rational thoughts of people, and the theory kind of claims that mostly people are rational in nature, and it's their rational thoughts that lead them to do this distinction. The press should not restrict anything. Even a negative content may give knowledge and can help make better decisions, while there could be worse situations. So any kind of crisis or any kind of situation that is going out of hand or can create public outcry or outrage in society, even then the theorists propose that media should not or press should not restrict anything. Even if it is negative, let that content flow so that people can make wise choices. It's always better to inform people than hold information back, which so this sort of a repression could be problematic later. So instead you counter, you deal with those sort of problems right in the beginning. That's a process of knowing individuals, that's a process of knowing a system, a structure, a community, or a group or a society. The society can be called libertarian or can be called as progressive. The society is open. The smallest social unit could be the family. So within that, do you think your parents are they value liberty? They value individual liberty over a societal framework? If they do, then they are likely to believe in the idea that each of you within the family need to have that sort of primacy given to them so that they can express themselves in the most better way. So those sort of derivatives are to be valued, and people are rational in nature. So mostly if you offer them every kind of content, be it right content or wrong content, let them judge instead of you censoring. So the moment censorship comes as a top-down approach, an institution or an individual or a community decides that, okay, let's hold on to this information. Let's do gatekeeping as far as this information is concerned. So what happens when you are editorializing the content, when you are censoring the content? You are not passing on information, even if it is negative in nature, anticipating that there could be some sort of a problem, then you are in an authoritarian position, that you are the deciding authority. This is something that is against the very grains of libertarian theory. The libertarian thoughts are exactly against or opposite to the authoritarian theory, which means that authoritarian theory says all forms of communication work under the control of government or an elite like the king. So here it says that no power and knowledge and information is to be distributed. Everybody needs to have access to information, and thus that could empower people with knowledge, and people would be in a better stage or would be in a much informed state to make choices which would help progress the society and which would help build a libertarian society. Okay, let's look at the strengths and weaknesses of libertarian theory. So first is freedom of press will give more freedom to media to reveal the real thing happening in society without any censorship or any authority blockades. Okay, this is a strength. This is a good point about the proposal that is offered by libertarian theory, that freedom of press would be given more importance, and with freedom of press and with the choice of trying to offer content, media can actually offer you what is happening in the society instead of hiding or instead of propagating things just by looking at one side of the story. So you would get to believe actually in what the media is doing because they're not censoring content under the pressure of the authority. Second is this sort of a theory is more reliable with US media traditions. Why do we say so? Because US media traditions follows a very individualism model, a framework that is more individualistic in nature, where the belief system works more with an individual's pride and attitude and point of view than a overall state principle, because it's also a democracy. So people are given those choices. So this theory works, more in tandem with how US media tradition has been, or US media history has been over a period of time. It gives more values for individuals to express their thoughts in the media. Yeah. So when you are free from any authority, when you know that whosoever is there in the establishment values or respects the choices that you make, or that your thoughts matter, then at least you would feel, and as an individual or as a representative of a certain community, you would feel more welcome. You would feel isolated, like you in an authoritarian regime. So in such sort of situation, individuals are valued more, and it adds, significant values to their expressions and thought processes. This theory excessively places some sort of a positive outlook about media's willing to meet responsibilities which may lead people into negative aspects. What does this mean? Is that people might look at media's willingness to offer any kind of content as media's responsibility. So you buy into the idea that media is actually doing an honest job, which it might be, but there is a larger possibility that it could lead to problematic situations where you are blinded by the kind of content that is offered by the media, and you wouldn't be able to make logical decisions because you tend to believe that, okay, this is what is the nature of truth, and this media is to be believed. So in the process, what happens is you stop rationalizing the kind of actions that the media does or takes. It can lead people to negative, have negative impact. Then this media theory is too positive about individual ethics and rationality. So it doesn't contextualize in what situation individuals place their ethics and rationality, and how their exposures or their experiences of life can carry some sort of baggage and can cloud their rational decision-making process. So without taking into consideration all of those things, it just says that offers a positive viewpoint about individuals' ethics and rationality. One of the weaknesses ignores the need for reasonable control of media. Okay, why reasonable control of media is necessary? Because if the media is given all the authority, all the power to go out and kind of do whatever they can, then it might lead to chaos. It's a proposition or an assumption that a reasonable control of media is required, so that those people who are in authoritarian position within the media communities, they don't lose their mind, or they don't start using media to influence people in a negative way. Then this theory also ignores the dilemmas posed by conflicting freedoms. What do you mean by conflicting freedoms? Means you have freedom as an individual, but you don't know what to do with it, and you are constantly in conflict with the freedom that is offered. Many times you're spoiled with choices. You're more than you can chew, and at that point in time, you can have existential conflict at the first place. That you don't know what sort of forms and structures you need to consume or adhere to or believe in. So your attitude would be more towards a dwindling side. So the dilemmas or the kind of ironical situations individuals could be in or communities could be in, which ignores the values of identities. This theory kind of ignores those sort of dilemmas that it poses. Okay, let's look at an example and then we'll close. WikiLeaks website published all sort of confidential and restricted files in public space, and especially classified documents. That's something that is out there in the open, and everybody knows that. These articles are providing brief knowledge about the government and its activities, which help people to identify what is happening in the society, and it gives great choice to elect better president in the future, right? So this is how the libertarian principle works, because WikiLeaks as an organization would believe that liberty must be given in the hands of the people, and this sort of information which could be classified as far as the government is concerned, which can actually turn a country upside down or a particular political establishment upside down. It is essential that those information be classified, but WikiLeaks doesn't believe in that and makes those sort of restricted files accessible so that the public knows what the founders of WikiLeaks or those people who at the helm of the affairs believe very strongly is in the idea of liberty. And they think that it is important for people to know what the establishment is up to. What are their actions, what are their thought processes, what are their philosophies, and are they actually pro people, or it is some sort of a IWAS that is happening in society. So in the process, once information is out there in people's hand, people can make better choices to elect better dispensations in the future. There's something that libertarian goes along with the very values or the ideologies of libertarian principles. And sometimes this document may work against the government and its authority, and that is why um, most in the country are not willing to allow libertarian thoughts because it may affect the power and kingdom. And it's something that is across. People who are enjoying the freedom, people who are enjoying the power and the kind of kingdom or the um, perks that comes along being a ruler. Why would you want to lose that to some sort of libertarian thoughts or ideologies which you might think doesn't work? So there is a certain status quo that the dispensation tries to maintain, in a good way or bad way. Either case, they don't want that to be disrupted. And libertarian thoughts most of the times kind of poses a challenge or a threat to autocratic principles or autocratic behavior or authoritarian framework. So those people who are the authority of the country, they would not want to be in that phase at the first place. So that's how it works. So that's more or less about libertarian principles or libertarian theory of the media that I wanted to share or discuss about. So I'll stop, and in the next session we are going to discuss about the free press theory or the social responsibility theory. Thank you.